We all like to assume that Mark Rosewater is like the big head honcho at Wizards of the Coast. He's got the insider knowledge that we're all seeking, and he's basically the oracle of Wizards of the Coast. And he just openly admitted just now that, well, let's read the question on his blog. Usually when asked of how a new set has done, you always said it's quite popular. This is the best set of all time. Blah, blah, blah. That makes me curious. When's the last time a set didn't do well? You all seem to be on a roll. And then Mark Rosewater responds, Ixilan block was the last time we had sets that majorly underperformed. Well, of course it would underperform. So they forced Merfolk as a creature type in this block. This block was supposed to be about pirates, vampires, dinosaurs, and some plant-like creature. But they didn't know what the creature was going to be, and at the last moment they said, Merfolk. Let's just make it Merfolk. And these Merfolk are terrible. This was like the last set right before Fire Design. Like, what am I supposed to do with this Jungle Delver? This 1 mana 1/1, 4 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on Jungle Delver? I don't see Champion of the Parish having to pay 4 mana to put a damn +1/+1 counter on this. But no set is aged better than Ixilan. That could be true. You know what? I think the set is still very popular. But this was a set highly anticipated by the Merfolk community. And like in the end, these Merfolk were basically unplayable. The most playable were like Kamena's Speaker and Merfolk Mistbinder for the most part. I mean, Merfolk Branch. There's actually a lot of playable Merfolk in here for Historic, but that's about it. Merfolk equals under minus performance. Spencer Ward could have told people Ixilan was a flop. Good story, great flavor. Who in their right mind would want to draft those sets or put that toilet jewelry in their decks? It is a weird set, isn't it? How do Merfolk, dinosaurs, vampires, pirates all come to meet up at once? These are all unplayable creatures. I mean, I guess maybe the most playable creature is Tashana, Voice of Thunder, as a commander, but that's about it. These were so bad. Waker of the Wilds, 4 mana for a 3/3 creature, and I had to pay double green and X. And the problem was this green clause was just brutal. My 2/2 creature required me to play a green source in my deck. Anyway, we hear it from Mark Rosewater himself. We got some comments. For example, both the set before and after Ixilan sold more and generated more hype, and people liked more overall. And Dimitri says, I'm not saying that what you described doesn't happen in other cases. Oh no, this is responding to someone else. What, do we have to go to the bottom first to get it chronologically? Who's Shadow Knight? Aging well from a financial perspective might simply be a product of selling fewer packs. I hope that doesn't bar us from seeing the plane again. Well, I mean, I don't mind we go back to Ixilan, but you gotta give us the real cards. I mean, this was like, I don't know, Lorwyn all over again. Mind you, the first time that they brought Merfolk to competitive play, it really sucked. Like, you know, there were some gems, right? There was like Mara Regery and Silver Gillidat, but actually the most of the set was just draft crap. Thomas said, didn't Raphael have a top 8 Merfolk deck during that standard? He had a very good... I don't know if he made top 8, but he had a really good performing Merfolk deck. But he admitted it had only one good matchup, and he played against that good matchup the entire Pro Tour. Like, he just kept playing against that same deck over and over again. I forget what the good matchup was, though. I mean, Ixilan did give us the poor man's reserve list cards, like Gaia's Cradle, Black Lotus. So yeah, it gave us the budget cards that no one wants to play, because they want the real thing. They can only have the real thing. At least the transform mechanic lets them get around the reserve list. Well, I mean, they're just very different cards, right? You got to work for the reserve list cards. Mikey J, drafting Ixilan for me was force pirates and get a Cutlass. Ixilan strategy, just in case they bring back the Ixilan stuff. Kopala is a gem. Or as Rudy would say, merfolk. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Ixilan, which I was hyped for, the whole merfolk community was hyped for at the time, ended up being, it was like sort of interesting, and then it was just really disappointing. As we were waiting for more cards, like nothing was really great. It wasn't like Modern Horizons awesome, where we were getting Svelun and Tideshaper and stuff like that. It was just a bunch of underwhelming crap, and we tried to make the best we could with what we got. Anyway, welcome everyone to the Magic Show. The Morning Magic Show, where we discuss things like Magic the Gathering. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning, because this is the most interactive MTG stream on the internet. And also, we do Decklist reviews, so if you got a 75 you like some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the coffee crew would love to give that feedback. So brew up your coffees, coffee crew. Let's brew up some magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for, what is it, the 8th? The 8th, October 8th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. And the 8th means I can go get a Wii. I can get a Switch. Not a Wii. I keep calling it a Wii. My brain is still trapped in the year 2000 or 2010-ish. Yes. Because the new Switch OLED is coming out. Anyway, we've got some sponsors here today. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week. Save 15% off Urza Saga. Basically, the Urza's block. Urza Saga, Legacy, and Destiny singles. 15% off. As you show, they're just showing off a bunch of reserve list cards for the most part. Even that Yavimaya Hollow. Price of that thing is... I don't know, does anyone even play Yavimaya Hollow? It looks like a free roll, but there's... Am I, like, not spelling this correctly? Here we go. Yavimaya Hollow. It's a legendary land tap for a generic mana. You pay a green tap, regenerate target creature. Seems like a lot of work to regenerate a creature. Holy crap! It's gone to 100. Oh, disgusting. I remember that was 30 bucks. It's too late now. It's 100 bucks. But anyway, you can get 15%, but even though it's $100, you can get 15% off when you get the deal of the week. But also remember, there is an additional 5% off when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And don't worry about the reserve list cards. They're really cheap there, which means you can play even Legacy on Magic the Gathering online. Rent the deck at a reasonable, affordable price and play all the Legacy decks you want, as much you can dream. And also, you can play Vintage. Don't worry about that. You don't have to spend your whole rental on like one Black Lotus. Black Lotus is cheap online. It's dirt. It's absolute dirt in digital. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off. 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. What games are you getting for the Switch? Mario Maker. And that's all I plan to get. I plan to get Mario Maker. I might get some other stuff. I wouldn't mind getting like classic games if they're available, but priority is Mario Maker. Mario Maker or bust. Definitely Mario Maker or bust. Spencer Ward, no, Lorwyn is what's compelling. Ixilan is like the Mercadian Masks. Whoa, that's going low. I remember when, I was around when Mercadian Masks was out, and I'm like, it's funny, at the time I thought all these cards are bad, but maybe I'm not good enough at the game to understand how good they are. And now that I'm much older, I can look back on Mercadian Masks and say, yeah, all those cards were bad. They're just bad cards. They're just terrible. Oh, we got a super chat. Sithrone, thank you very much for the $5. Can you explain how Flusterstorm works? How does it kill force? Couldn't they just pay the mana? Well, they can. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Yes. It doesn't kill force. Flusterstorm. But the deal is, do you have the mana? So how it works is, you're going to cast Flusterstorm, and then... you're going to get a copy for every spell that was cast on the stack. Now, keep in mind, because you cast Flusterstorm, it's going to count itself. So let's say you play a spell. Anything. That's Storm count 1. Then let's say your opponent plays Force of Negation, which I'm assuming is the question here. Or Force of Will, whatever. That's spell number 2. Then you play Flusterstorm in response. That will be spell number 3. And now with 3 spells on the stack, you get 3 additional copies of Flusterstorm. So you can counter the you can counter the force if they can't pay 4. So they have to pay for the 3 copies of Flusterstorm and the OG that's on the stack. People play Force of Will for free, showing no mana. This screws them. Okay, that might have been an even easier answer. But the idea is yes, they can pay it if they want, but if they can't pay it, then they can't. Then it doesn't even matter how much storm you have. They'll just get ruined by the first one. But I hope that answers your question. That's exactly how Flusterstorm works. So you could look at Flusterstorm as a crappy Spell Pierce, because it doesn't counter, because one Flusterstorm will force the opponent to pay 2, but it can only target instants or sorceries. That's about it. Well, no. Well, there has to be a 3rd spell on the stack in this case, because if Force of Negation countered something, then there's another spell. You can't just play Force of Negation out of nowhere. Unless we're talking about how did you word it? How does it kill force? Oh, there could be other forces like Force of Vigor. Okay, that's possible. I'm a blue mage. I thought we're talking about Force of Will, Force of Negation. All right, so if you're talking about Force of Vigor or something, then yeah, I can counter that. It will do the job. I hope that's a good explanation. I hope that helped. Thanks for the super chat. Shot Creations loves the dinos. The big dinos. Was Galta from Ixilan? Yeah, Galta was from Ixilan. You like Galta? Rivals from Ixilan. Galta! Big dino. Actually saw play in some formats. Somewhere. Probably. Anyone ever try to make it? I've seen them. Probably someone could make it work. Did you happen to see Alpha Investments video yesterday? Rudy basically worked with founder of Flesh and Blood to create ultra rare cards he's offering to patrons for $1,000. After one day, he burns the rest. Holy crap! So there's X number of a super rare Flesh and Blood card, and that's interesting. That's interesting. That's collectible right there. And the video would be proof of it. Wow, amazing. I wonder how much the Flesh and Blood people are going to get. Like, what's their commission out of this, if anything at all? But that's good marketing. But that sounds like they're going down the slippery slope of the reserve list, which, by the way, is not killing Magic. Maybe it has a benefit somehow. In this case, they're showing like their reserved list in action. I didn't see it, but I think that's a very unique marketing tool. It sounds like a good way for Rudy to make money. Is 3 colors good enough for engineer explosives? Yes. 3 is usually, you just want to be at 2 for the most part. 0, 1, and 2 are the most modes. 3 is, yeah, you're good. You're good at 3. Andrew, I did a 2K last weekend and Jund Death Shadow let me down. I definitely punted once, but I had so many bad matchups. 30% plus burn. I don't know if I'm just bad at the deck or what. I think I will go back to Ponza. You could go back to Ponza. So like, burn, technically it's a bad matchup, but if you're good enough, you can make it a lot more even, because it's a tricky matchup. I mean, they don't really want to put your life total to nothing. I mean, the one thing you should do as a Death Shadow player is keep your life total as high as possible. Like, don't try to put your life total down. Let them do the work. You know what I mean? You can do quite a bit with a Tarmogoyf, for example. Or even Scourge of the Skyclaves. So I hope you were not intentionally putting yourself down to 10. But, whatever. Yeah, Burn is very popular right now. Maybe we got to bring back Curse Catcher. I don't like Curse Catcher. Maybe Curse Catcher's well positioned. It's good against Crashing Footfalls. Good against, I mean, just Cascade in general. Good against Burn. Not good against Elementals, but... Russell, are you familiar with the troll level community in Mario Maker? I am not familiar, but I love the troll levels for the most part. I love the really hard levels. Myself and my brother, we love playing the 0.001 percenters, and that's we're gonna be streaming that stuff from now on. Like, I play games. I haven't actually played much console games in the last, I don't know, 3 years. But I gotta get back into it. As anyone has been noticing, I've been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. Hopefully there's a bigger crowd for... I wonder if I would get more viewers for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if I just turned the volume off, because you always get that stupid... There's a lot of really annoying sounds coming from that game. Frickery, do you still have a lot of video ideas, or is it hard to come up with new ones? I have this insanely long list of video ideas. It's just a matter of me getting off my ass and then doing them. I have a lot of ideas, actually. I have unlimited. As a content creator, yes, I need to be a good brainstormer. So I have this it's off to my right. It's staring at me at all times. There's a lot. I have an unlimited number of ideas. Done a lot of research. It's a matter of, and I slowly make them as you see them. And there's still a lot of stuff. I've got years worth of ideas to come up with. I would say the harder part is figuring out ideas for my editor, who doesn't know anything about Magic the Gathering. That is a little bit harder, but I mean, I do have ideas for that. You know, I got him to edit the shuffling video. So he did the shuffling video. He did the latest Easter eggs video. He did, so like it's a little bit harder because he doesn't know anything about Magic, but he's a good editor, very good editor. Mercadian Mask lands were they though? They were fire? I mean, Richardson Port was the most famous one. Is there any other one? Oh, you're talking about the like basic lands. The art on this is awesome, by the way. I really like the art. I should rebuy a... How much is it? $72. Well, I don't want to buy it that badly. And this was the first set that didn't have reserve list cards, by the way. Mercadian Masks was a new direction. It's like, we don't have any reserve list cards, and all the cards suck. What a coincidence. No one can feel bad. No one would want any of these cards to be reserve list. Yeah, I guess except Port. Port was the hands down best card in there. Have you covered the infamous foil draft? It's on the list. It's on the list of things to do. It is on the list. I will eventually get around to that video. Maybe I'll make it a priority before the end of the year. I have a long list of ideas. That is definitely on the list. We're gonna talk about it. It costs money. That's right. Richard Import ain't free. Can we take a look at the Pioneer Challenge deck list? I'm thinking about picking up the Spirits one, but I don't know how much of the deck ports over to Modern. I think it does an okay. Here, we'll look up Pioneer Challenger decks. We can absolutely look at these things. Let's see. Okay, so Brazen Borrower, yes. Mausoleum Wanderer, yes. Remorseful Cleric, sort of. Selfless Spirit, yes. Rattle Chains, yes. Shacklegeist, yes. Supreme Phantom, yes. Spell Queller, yes. Spectral Sailor, yes. Watcher of the Spheres, no. You're gonna have to upgrade that one to, well, basically all these other cards. Empyrean Eagle, also a no. Because you play with Drog Skull Captain. Drog. School. So hard. Oh, I didn't spell it right? Ah, for crying out loud. How about this? What? How do I spell it? Oh, whoops. Drog Skull. I misspelled it and not... What is going... Oh, Skull. It's hard to find the Drog Skull. All I remember is I can never spell this one right. It's hard to find. So you're going to replace the Lord with this Lord. This is a better Lord because it gives all your spirits hexproof. Thank you very much, Kaya. Lofty Denial could be better, but you do have a good chunk of the deck. So you have a huge chunk of the deck that is viable in Pioneer, and you definitely can port this over time to Modern. You're gonna need Skyclave apparitions and stuff like that. Yes, Drog Skull. Okay, so it's Drog Skull. Not Drog School. Stupid name. I don't even know what is a Drog Skull anyway. Doesn't make any sense. Forest 347 masks top tier. Ooh, I remember there was, okay. 347 Forest masks. Uncle Google. You know, I remember, this is a great one. I remember I really like this one. I think I even have a foil of this somewhere. Back from the good old days. And I love the islands back then. The islands are great. This says 9th edition, but this is originally from Masks block. They had some, I don't know, they had, I want to say they have art that is not forgettable. There's a lot of art for the basic lands. It's like, whatever, it's no big deal. Masks block, for some reason, had some unique art. Memorable, there we go. The opposite of forgettable. Memorable. And there goes my memory. Flusterstorm itself has a pseudo uncountable thing going on since each copy is separate. That's, yes, basically. 1, 3, 4. I've cast Flusterstorm in my life. I've cast 1 Flusterstorm in my life. I fetched in response to an opponent's Brainstorm. They stifled the fetch, and I Flusterstormed the Brainstorm and the Stifle and won the game. Yes, that's exactly how that would happen. That's nice. Fetch, any response? Got him. Will you post a video of you beating Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I will, actually. If I beat it, I already got the clickbait title and everything ready. I just need to beat the fucking game. And then I will send it to my editor to turn it into like a 20-minute video. And I estimate it as a 5% chance of getting 1 million views and a 95% chance of getting like 300 views, because I don't think anyone would want to watch it for 30 minutes. 20 minutes. But whatever. It'll be my crowning achievement in my life if I can beat that game. Oh, I've hit a roadblock. If anyone's played that game before, like there's this stupid hallway of hell getting to Shredder, and it's just impossible. It's just filled with these invincible invincible enemies that require like tons of hits to clear, and there's just an infinite number of them, and you can't get around them. You just have to go through them somehow. It's just awful. What's your secret against Burn with Fish? I'm around 50-50 in terms of wins and want a bit of a bump. You gotta customize your deck for Burn. Alright, so the matchup can be like even, terrible, or great depending what cards you play. So good cards versus Burn, Curse Catcher. Not a card I like to play with, but this is very good versus Burn. You play this against them, slows them down a ton. Next best card, Master of Waves. Again, a card that's very hard to play. I don't really like this art. This art is superior to me. A card that, like, you know, it's not that great versus the generic decks these days. There's just way too many answers. Maybe it's better now that people are playing with Prismatic Ending instead of Path. That might be worth looking into. But in general, Master of Waves, not looking very good versus other decks, but looking very good versus Burn. Because as pro-red, they don't want to attack into it. Puts a bunch of elementals on the battlefield, so you can play this, stabilize the board, and also threaten to kill them as well. Now, Ether Vial is also a great card, but you have that already. This helps beat Eidolon. Eidolon, the Burn player will then take more damage from their Eidolon than you do. Counter spells, good counter spells. I would say Dispel is a good one. Here's the deal. I don't think Force and Negation is good versus Burn at all. I don't think it's good versus Burn. You actually want cheap counter spells like Dispel. I think Dispel and Counterspell are where it's at. The problem with Force of Negation is that they'll play all their burn spells on your turn, taxing your mana and just turning Force Negation into a cancel, which is useless. Other good cards, Tidebinder Mage is reasonable. I think Harbinger is better. Oh, Chalice of the Void is okay. But I will say that with Chalice of the Void, it is mediocre on 1. Like, if you rush out a Chalice on 1, it's like, it's not that great, because their deck is full of 2-drops. But they are really sensitive at the 2-drop spot. So if you play a Chalice on 2, and make sure you have some Cavern of Souls in your deck so you can still play your creatures after you have a Chalice on 2, that will wipe out their deck. And even cards like Smash to Smithereens, which are supposed to destroy the artifacts, can't even destroy this because it's 2 mana and get countered. So hope that was some help. It all comes down to like what cards you put in your deck to help beat the matchup. That's the secret. Otherwise you lose. Rudy knows it's a troll move. The creator destroyed his pre-pandemic. Rudy forgot to until recently. He said the less people buy, the more valuable they'll be. It's up to his patrons. That's interesting. So what? They made a super rare card for no reason, then just burned it, and then there was supposed to be no copies, and then Rudy ends up having the copies. What a scam! It's like him and the creator. Hey, let's burn this really rare card, and he gets half the copies, and then the creator burns his half, but Rudy kept his. What a scam! Yeah, no Eidolon trigger for Master of Waves. Very chonky creature. Very chonky creature. Well, Vile won't get abraded in Burn because they don't play Abrade. They play Smash to Smithereens, if anything. Azzy Flya, or Flya. NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is not Nintendo hard, it's Nintendo garbage. The underwater level creator needs to be beaten. And what's funny is that underwater level comes immediately. Like, it's so early in the game. It's at a point where, like, you know, basically you play the game for a little bit and then you rage quit when you get to the underwater level. The Dam, as it is called. Watch this. I don't want to watch the speedruns. I want to beat it fair and square. Okay, get this. So I watched not a speed run. It was supposed to be a run where you don't take any damage. And immediately, I'm watching this thing, and immediately the guy avoids the first manhole. Like the very first, he just walks around it, goes down, and basically skips the beginning part of the game. And I'm like, oh my god, I've seen too much. I've seen too much. So I got spoiled too much, even just watching something innocent. It was incredible. This guy went through the whole dam without taking a single point of damage. Like, that's why I clicked on the video. How did you get through that dam without hitting any of the coral? Impossible. But he did. Thank God for Game Genie. I never actually owned a Game Genie. No, I do it the old-fashioned way. You lose, you lose. Away in my mind. Nikachu, do you think Teamer Footfalls is a safe deck to invest in? Don't want to spend $1,400 on a deck that will be unplayable in a year. I think it is a very safe. I think it's a very safe, stable deck to buy into. Like, what is going to happen to this deck? Like, what could they even... Like, are you scared they're going to ban something? I mean, I think that's the greatest... Okay, so first off... All the cards are going to be good. All the lands in this deck are top tier. So the mana base is top tier. All of these are more or less playables anyway. And the creatures are all playables, like Brazen Bar, Seasoned Pyromancer, Shardless Agent, Fury. They're all good. Everything in this deck is good. So even if somehow this deck was unplayable, your cards are all very valuable and can translate to some other deck where you can trade them for another deck. Now, another thing is, I don't think there's anything in this deck you can ban. The best bet is, like, Wizards will create more hate cards for not spending mana casting your spells. But even then, I'm sure you're going to have more than enough interaction for that. The deck is very strong. I think it's a good investment. I know it's very expensive, but it's mostly for the mana base, right? Or also for Forced Negation. It's still money. Forced Negation not gonna not be money. Apparently. Benji Boy, any tips for getting into Magic the Gathering Online? I'm thinking about renting and playing there for the first time. Okay, so I do have a good recommendation. Do not play in any of the leagues immediately. Don't play for any ticks. Go into what's called the tournament practice area. You can play there infinitely for free. They've got an unlimited number of opponents, and just play there. And I'll tell you why. Because you need to get used to the client. You're going to skip through your attack step. You're going to skip through your turn. You're going to make so many stupid mistakes, and you don't want to do that in leagues where it's worth money. So I would suggest not doing that, and then maybe watch some tutorial about how to set it up, because the client, nothing's intuitive. The whole client is a big mess. It's a big mess. I mean, it's a great way to practice and play. It's just an archaic mess. If you're not sponsored, you value draft foil stamped Tarmogoyf every damn time. Yeah, even in the top 8 of tournaments. Oops. Andrew Sisson. I was trying to let them lower my life. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep trying and maybe switch things up. You're welcome. So, I mean, I think this is in response to playing Jund against Burn. Like, it is, from what I've taught, when I talk to, like, the Jund players, it's funny. Andrew Day2 Dryden, who plays Burn, he's like, the Death Shadow matchup's not beatable for him. But then when we go the other way around, the Death Shadow players say it's close, but it's unfavorable. They think it's unfavorable. So you can... I mean, if you want one way to shore up the matchup, play more Collective Brutalities. Simple as that. That Burn player hates that card. Deal 2 damage, drain and gain, and also take away one of their burn spells. It's just terrible. So just, if 30% burn, maybe make 30% of your sideboard anti-burn cards. Collective Brutality. Bebop and Rocksteady are a big problem. What, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No, they're like easy. They're like the first bosses you play against. They go down pretty easily. The problem is the Doom guy. If anyone knows what I'm talking about. The Doom... It's this floating Doom guy at the final level. It's just terrible. It's impossible. Masks Black has Rebels. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that. I play with them a lot in pre-modern. Counter Rebels is a deck. Oh my god. You're bringing me back, GP. Counter Rebels was one of the tier 1 decks back in Standard back in the day. Back in the day. I think Kai Bud liked playing that deck. I don't even know why it was that good. In my opinion, the Fires of Yavimaya deck was superior and just smashed the hell out of everything. Nikachu, make a super merfolk, make 10,000 copies, and sell them and burn all that don't sell. We just make the champion of the parish merfolk. We just make the champion, and then whoever wants it, you buy it. Whoever supported Flesh and Blood from the start got those cards. Special equipment. Oh, interesting. Get into our game, and maybe, if it gets good and popular, it'll be worth some money. Braden says, if I can grab a booster box of Amonkhet for $100 to 120 Canadian, should I grab all 4 available boxes ASAP? Well, let's look at the market. Let's look at what Amonkhet TCG player. The only advice I would have is that if you can buy it below, like, market price, then sure. No, I want Amonkhet box. Booster box. What the hell? $300. If you can get it for $120 Canadian, are you getting scammed? This is very expensive. The only thing I'd be concerned about is you're getting scammed. Look, this it's selling for like 250 American dollars. When it's too good to be true, I'm very scared. Like, if they're selling for 200, it would make some sense to me. 120 Canadian, though, is an absolute steal. Something's wrong. I'll just say, I mean, if you can verify that it's real, then it's a great price. You should buy them all up. But, because, I mean, but my problem with this is, why aren't they selling? You got to ask yourself a question, and maybe this is just some dumbass that doesn't know the value of the box. But why aren't they selling it for 250 American on the open market? Even after any fees and shipping, they come out way ahead. They can't sell it for 120 Canadian. That doesn't make any sense. Why is Amonkhet selling for so much? I don't know. I guess it's a very popular set. Yeah, resealed packs incoming. That's sketchy unless you got a plug for the boxes. So that's the problem. That price is too low to believe. It's just a bit too low to believe, in my opinion. So anyway, it's a very scary price. Mikey J says, people think of MTG as a card game when they should be thinking of it as a money shredding machine, just like the nuclear arms race. Well, it's I don't really look at Magic the Gathering as a money shredding thing, because like we all know that the cards retain some value no matter what. I think of all the hobbies that you could get into, Magic is a pretty good one, because like when you're ready to leave, you can just sell out for whatever you spent it on. You're gonna get something back when you're into Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of games you can't sell out of, like MTG Arena. Or I guess that's not true. I did some research on like weird things people have sold on eBay in terms of Magic the Gathering, and someone sold their MTG Arena account. Had 1,000 wild cards. They didn't specify the rarity, but had 1,000 wild cards, and it was a stocked up account. Blah blah blah. More like a money launch. There we go. This is exactly how this can work. Which makes me wonder how much money, like because we had this discussion before. Like, how high are the prices on Magic cards just because people are laundering money with it? You know, it's just so, because like all local game stores will take cash, or even at the floor of a GP, you give them the cash, they give you the cards, you take the cards, you sell them somewhere else, and boom. Yep, you can even get a receipt for selling the cards. You can say you had the cards for forever. Buy from local game store, not Amazon. Don't let Bezos get to the moon or we're all doomed. Amonkhet is expensive for the invocations. That Force of Will is beautiful and expensive. And isn't that hilarious? Like, I think the invocations are, for the most part, are hideous. They're terrible. Just my opinion. I know other people disagree, but the prices reflected that. Let's go to most unreliable site for graphs, mtgstocks.com. And let's look up Force of Will. Sure. We're going to look up the Amonkhet version. See what the price of the Amonkhet one is. Here, Amonkhet Invocation. Where are we at now? We're at $332. This was under $100 when it first... Was it under $100? Am I lying? Oh, I'm lying. This was never that low. Okay, so this got as low as $170. I'm wrong on this one. Most of the invocations, though, were, like, very badly received. They were very, very badly received. They had very low prices. But I do know that the prices have rebound big. Like, now people are like, oh, we're going to get this just because it's rare and valuable. And I'm sure there's a niche market for it anyway. I mean, let's look up... Let's look up Thoughtseize. Million printing is a Thoughtseize. $160. So when it came out, oh, this one also retained quite a bit of value. Oh, look at that spike. Did not really maintain, but it went up. It went up. It did go up. Are there any invocations that were like rock bottom worthless and then spiked later? Scarab got a invocation. Oh, that's a big one. Actually, these graphs are not really proving my point. They're all still pretty expensive at like $85. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe $85 was low compared to the other things. Now this makes me wonder, what is the Masterpiece Ether Vial? I have not kept my eye on this one. Ether Vial. Oh, finally it's actually worth something. It was like just treading water for forever. Thanks, inflation. Inflation saved me. Emperor Sakis. I have 4 Invocation Force Will and I love them. Opened 1 and bought 3 more. That's how it works, isn't it? You open 1, it's like, this is my card. It has chosen me. I need the next 4. Click the Masterpiece series link. Oops. Where's the Masterpiece series? Oh. Blood Moon. So a lot of these are still... Okay, let's look at Choke. Yeah, this one, very cheap. Okay, here's a good example of one that was pretty cheap to begin with, and now is 4x'd since then. Or maybe not. We should go by the market foil, because that's what it's selling for. $55. Before it was $20. Okay, so 2.5x. Oh yeah, the Soul Ring is insane, isn't it? Man. Even, like, Beta Soul Ring is insane. Oh, man. So many Soul Rings. Good God. Where do we find the real one? I want the real Soul Ring. Masterpiece Series. $1,000. And just slowly rising. People just believe in the Soul Ring. And just keep going up. Everyone's trying to put their money into Soul Ring. Is there a Masterpiece Ornithopter? Inflation saved me, a term never before been uttered. This is not the Ornithopter. Am I spelling it wrong? Alright, we got the real Ornithopter. Oh, there is a Masterpiece. This is the most expensive 0 mana spell I've ever seen. Started at $60. I'm not even in love with this picture. Isn't there like a very nice Ornithopter? These are all ugly. I swear they made a really nice Ornithopter recently. This one! This is fucking great. Shitty picture. But I thought this was really cool. Maybe we can find a better one here. And you can get it for the low, low price of Secret Lair price. Oh, they still have... Is this still... I guess this isn't released yet? I think this is awesome! Is there a way to make Fires of Invention work in Modern? I want to play the card, but I don't know what direction to take. You should take some Planeswalker route. Like, here's the deal. Like, Fires... I think there is a way to make Fire of Invention work. But usually, if people have 4 mana, they just play with Wilderness Reclamation instead. Please don't tell me Revive Soul Rings spiked because my mom tossed out like 10 of those fuckers when you're in college. It probably did spike. Revive Soul Ring is really expensive. Unlimited one is even worse. Okay, where's the revised? Because people want OG. People want OG ones. Well, maybe it didn't spike hard. $18. It went up. If I remember, the unlimited one did, though. It's like $250 now. Or maybe not. It's probably BS. It's probably around 150-ish. Little known fact, if you revealed your opening hand and it's all invocations, then you get to scream Exodia and then you automatically win the game. But then that means you could just fill your deck with the invocations. And then cheat all your wins. This is the most expensive 0 mana spell I've ever seen. Can I introduce... Well, I mean like in modern day history. Yeah, Black Lotus beats everything. Back to the Amonkhet. It's at a local game store. Why are they selling it for 120? Do they not have the internet or something? That Amonkhet box is sus as fuck. Anyway, I like that's the problem I have with this. Okay, how about this? How reputable is this local game store? Like, is it like a new local game store? Is it like an established local game store that has been selling on... Well, obviously they don't sell online. I mean, there are some local... I mean, even me in Winnipeg, Manitoba, we have like 5 or 6 local game stores, and only 2 sell online, and the rest don't. So you can get deals on some cards because they're just not even selling to the online market. But like $120 is in Canadian dollars. That's like that is basically equivalent to 100 US dollars. That is a steep discount. It's too steep. But anyway, I mean, you do whatever. Erwin Lopez, thank you very much for the super chat. Here's 5 towards Valve's Steam Deck. It has the power to run Magic the Gathering online. Valve's does it? You can play Magic the Gathering online on the Steam Deck. It has the power. Is that right? Anyway, that's interesting. If anything, I might hack my Switch so I could just make it do anything I want it to do. Alright, do they hack Switches out there? I don't give a fuck about my warranty. Just so long as... I mean, I don't really like hacking stuff very often, but now I'm like, I don't care. I want this thing to do whatever I want it to do. Did you hack your Switch, Adrian? Show me the way. The Steam Deck is such a cool piece of tech, but too bad I already own a gaming PC and a Switch, so there's no point in owning one. Hey, there's always a point. You can play your stream games on it. Your Steam games. Anyway. You heard the music, now you see the command. It's time for Decklist review. Exclamation point, review deck space, give the URL to your Decklist. You'll be eligible for... Oh yeah, by the way, you have to... let me tell you where to put this. You gotta go into my description. Go, there's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord, go to the channel Decklist Review, and there you enter the command, exclamation point, review deck space, give the URL to your decklist, and boom, you'll be eligible at random for Decklist Review. Or if you're tired of the randomization, you can always ship me $20 US on PayPal, paypal.me/Nikachu MTG, and you will 100% get your decklist reviewed, and you'll be guaranteed one match played on Magic the Gathering Online. We'll play test it for one match to get that further deep analysis, how that works. What the F is a Switch and what's the Steam Deck bullshit? Mikey J, do you not play any video games? Do you not play any video games? Here could be a life lesson. Unspoken rule, don't F over your local game store. They remember shit like that, and they can ban you. Treat others, know to be treated. Golden rule and stuff, you know? Oh, what happened with people are, What's going on? Oh, Kaya says, you can put Windows on a Steam Deck, so I'd assume you can just download... Oh, interesting. So how do we get Windows on the Switch? No, I don't know if I would want to play Magic the Gathering Online on the small screen. Well, I could do it. I could make that work. Nathan with the super chat. Thank you very much, Nathan. Thanks for doing this stream on a daily, Nikachu. This is an awesome community. Keep brewing up the magic. Oh, I can't brew up the magic unless you guys are brewing it with me. But we will keep brewing up that magic. How do you feel about the 2-player queue on Magic the Gathering Online? It's not good value, but... like because you're spending a lot to not win very much, but the competition is a lot weaker because the entry fee is lower, so it can be a bridge. So like once you're comfortable winning in the tournament practice area, I would suggest moving up to the 2-player queues, and then when you're comfortable winning there, move to the leagues. Gold medals, you did a review on one of my decks a few weeks ago. I bought the cards you recommended, and now the deck works 10 times better. Your advice is priceless. Thanks again. You're welcome, gold medals. Look at that. Another satisfied customer. Happens all the time. Alright, let's do this. Oh, and it's Friday, so we'll be clearing the queue at the end of today's show. The queue will be cleared. Cheppy with the message. Well, no message, just deck list. Oh god. What is this? Black green stompy fresh homemade janky brew. With fresh lemon juice squeezed into it. Alright. We've got Stompy fresh homemade janky brew by Cheppy, the Stompy enjoyer. Alright. Let's get our Stompy on. Ignoble Hierarch, Pelt Collector. Avatar of the Absolute, Dothy, Voidwalker. Ugh! This one's hard because this is heavy on black, and you're also heavy on green. Strangleroot Geist, Predatory Ooze, Gem Razor, Toski Bearer of Secrets. So these are all fine cards. Fatal Push, Inquisition, Thoughtseize. God, your mana base is going to be awful. Abrupt Decay, Wither Bloom Command. I'm very curious about Rancor, like if we really need this card. Like, do we really need this card? I can understand you want to get through damage in some way, but why don't you just kill the creatures and then get through? I find, like, here's my problem with Rancor. No deck plays this card. Nobody plays Rancor. Except when the Stompy deck comes out, it's like, well, Stompy plays Rancor. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure this is like a mandatory include. I think they included it at a time when there weren't enough playables. I think your better bet is to, like, fill up on Fatal Pushes and Inquisitions or Abrupt Decays. Like, just clear the path for your attack, and it's good enough. And Predatory Ooze, isn't this like one of the best creatures? Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When it deals, when a creature dealt damage by Predatory Ooze dies this turn. Okay, put more counters on it. That's fine. I think you should have more Predatory Oozes. It's not a snap include in Infect. Boggles plays Rancor, but I don't think they need it either. What do we got here? So you got 4 Forest, Nurturing Peatland, Overgrown Tomb, Swamp. You should probably have an Urborg in this deck. Probably, maybe. Okay, let's have, how many? 1, 8, 9, 13, 16. Okay, I think you reason, plus with the Ignoble Hierarch, I think you reasonably have enough cards for Dothy Voidwalker. I think your curve is very low, though, for Ignoble Hierarch at the same time. Like, you may not need Pelt Collector. But if I were to make a clean, easy change, get rid of the Rancors, add more removal spells. Like, I just don't believe in this card at all. Yeah, Pelt Collector is essentially Experiment 1. That would be about it. What the hell is this crime and punishment? Put target creature or enchantment card in an opponent's graveyard into play under your control, or destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with converted mana cost X. Destroy each artifact, creature, but that would mean yours too. I don't really like this one. I would just turn this into something else. Destroy all artifacts, enchantments you gain. Would you need to get rid? Do you really need to get rid of the enchantments? Because for 1 mana less, you could play Creeping Corrosion, and that would be good enough. Or maybe you should just play Force of Vigor. I think 5 mana is very expensive, and playing Force of Vigor would just be way better. So you just turn this Fracturing Gust into another Force of Vigor. Yeah, Torpor Orb is fine. Void Mirror is fine. Break the Ice. And then turn the crime punishment into something else. Well, Tarmogoyf... I don't know if Tarmogoyf is that great in this deck. Because we don't have that many cards. We have some, but not a million card types. But anyway, that is... no huge big changes, but those are the changes I would make. I think Gem Razor is a totally fun card as well. It's nice. Doesn't this give Trample? This gives Trample. If anything, if you really needed the Trample, play more Gem Razors. I think this is a perfectly legitimate card. And the Gem Razor can give things Trample. Alright, thank you very much for the deck list, and good luck with the feedback. Okay, I've just cleared the queue because we've got our last deck list for today. So any new deck list you add will be available for next week. Blue Delver. I like that. It's like calling it Black, Green, Red Jund or something like that. You know, obviously it's going to be Blue Delver. I guess I guess it's like saying mono Blue Delver, except no mono. Alright, we got Delver of Secrets, Thing in the Ice, Brazen Borrower, and the Demolich. Consider Fading Hope, Opt, Otherworldly Gaze. I don't know about this one. This one's card disadvantage. Put the top 3 cards of your library. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put any number of them into your graveyard. Maybe it works well because of Demolich. So maybe it works out in that case. Censor. It's not bad, but it's not great. Yeah, red burn. The best kind of burn. You know what? I think Censor should just be Counterspell. I think you should have Counterspells in this deck, and this should just be Counterspell. I think this is going to be too useless. You're never going to... I'll tell you what. You're never going to cycle this card. There's no reason to ever cycle this card. You're always going to be doing something with your mana. Always, always, always. So you might as well have Counterspell available. The only advantage is you... Well, I guess you cycle it to feed your Demolich or something like that. But I think actually you should just use Counterspell instead of Censor. Oh, is this Pioneer? Oh, whoa! Gotta learn. We gotta. I swear, looking at your creature base is so powerful. I thought it was modern. All right, we're in Pioneer. Okay, Censor is great. This is a great card because you don't have many counter spells available. Curate. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put any number. This changes everything. This changes everything. This is a really powerful main deck. Or it's a powerful creature suite. Okay, curate. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. Draw a card. You know, at some point, you gotta start in... Like, I don't mind a lot of these cantrips at 1 mana, but then once we get to 2 mana, I'm not liking them nearly as much. You can't just be like, cantrip, 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 because, like, you need some interaction. Like, when your Demolich hits the battlefield... Like, when it attacks, you want to use interaction. You want to be using things like Fading Hope, return target creature to its owner's hand. Because otherwise, you're just constantly, like, sifting through your deck with no point at all. So, I'm not in love with this. I mean, I understand you're blue. Is there any good utility cards in Pioneer that are blue that are, like Archmage's Charm, not indeed level, but like the utility of Archmage's Charm. Like it can do multiple things. Draw Disruption, counteract spell unless the controller pays 1. I like this card. So this is a land in addition to your... I like that actually a lot. You get to play with the low... Castle Ventress might not work in this deck. Or will it? 12 islands. I will tell you, I think you should have 14 islands in your deck if you want to play with Castle Ventress. And I would say the card that you get rid of probably should be Mystic Sanctuary because you don't have any fetch lands in your deck. I don't mind Castle Ventress. But the thing is, if you don't have 14 islands in your deck, very often these cards are going to come into play tapped. Mystic Sanctuary for sure, and I don't think you ever want any cards coming into play tapped. I don't even know if you're going to get to 4 lands with this deck. Dig Through Time is not bad. Actually, why aren't we playing like Treasure Cruise? Oh no, we are. There's the Treasure Cruise. Okay, I like it. I'm like, where's Treasure Cruise? You find the villain's lair. Counter target spell or draw 2 cards then discard 2 cards. Okay, that's not bad. I like that one. That has some utility. You're drawing cards, discarding cards, or you can counter stuff. I think this deck needs more counter spells or more interaction. Maybe more Brazen Borrowers. I wouldn't mind that, because this is Petty Theft, and it's also a creature at the same time. Isn't Mystic Sanctuary an island itself? So here's the deal. In decks like Delver, you want to reduce how many lands come into play tap turn 1 as much as possible. Because you need to do something every single turn. You go turn 1 Delver, and then efficiently do something every turn. And you have no choice but do that. You gotta... The Estriel, you gotta go into my description. There is a link to my Discord. Join the Discord, go to Decklist Review, and then use the command. Yeah, we have 3 Treasure Cruise already. Okay, so here's my suggestions. Get rid of Mystic Sanctuary, because it's going to come into play tap very often. And it's pointless. It'll be like somewhat pointless in the late game. In the late game, you might as well use Castle Ventress. So then you have 14 islands, so that Castle Ventress is not so clunky. You need, in my opinion, you need 14 islands minimum. So you have your blue drops available on turn 1. Second, I think you should add 2 more Brazen Borrower as not only interaction for the board, but also a win condition. The unfortunate thing is this is going to count as a creature in the graveyard. But it will still, and also doesn't go to the graveyard for Treasure Cruise. What else do I want to do? I mean, either you add more Brazen Bars or you add more Fading Hopes. Because I think you should just have more interaction. Well, I mean, I think the creature base is fine, but there, at some point, all this deck does is like look through cards, look through cards, look through cards. We need to like interact on the board and stuff. You need to counter spells. So Censor's not too bad. Droid Disruption's not too bad. Maybe we should have more of Droid Disruption for all I know. But make no mistake, like these look like non-bows, but there have been modern decks built around this. To be honest, those modern decks didn't survive the test of time, but... No Xavier, I would just have 16 creatures. I mean, maybe 14, like, I mean, I guess with how many, like, dig spells there are in this deck, 14 creatures maybe is not so bad. But I think between Consider, Fading Hope, Opt, Otherworldly Gaze, like we have more than enough to find our creatures. And then at some point this is overkill. Curate I think is overkill. This should be something else. Curate should be just some other random card. Or like a counter. I don't know what counter spells that are available at 2 mana. What counter spells are available at 2 mana in Pioneer? Isn't there like a counter target spell unless they pay 2, scry something? There's no remand in Pioneer. This is a Pioneer deck. Shark Typhoon is only good if you have a lot of mana. This deck is not going to have a lot of mana. It's 17 lands plus 2 Jwari Disruption. Oh, Unsubstantiate is an interesting one. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, return target spell or creature to its owner's hand. That's actually not bad. I don't mind this at all. This is actually a good card. So it acts like a remand, but also it can return creatures from the battlefield to their hand. I like that a lot. I don't know if you can play Wizard's Retort, because we don't actually have that many. We have 1 wizard that comes out on turn 1, and we have 1 wizard that comes out on like turn 4. I don't think Baral is good enough for this deck. I heard Memory Lapse might be broken. Isn't Lofty Denial only good if we have a flying creature? You can control a creature with flying, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead. I mean, we just don't have enough flyers. Or maybe we have more flyers than we think. Yeah, this turns into a flyer. Right, between this and Brazen Borrower. I mean, maybe that's possible. People suggesting Quench. Quench that thirst. So this is just counter target spell unless its controller pays 2, so it's like okay, but not great. What's the sideboard like? Dive Down? I'm just gonna trust you that you like this card is okay, but I don't like this card. Maybe it's better than I think it is, but I'm never in love with stuff like Dive Down. Soul Guide Lantern is good, Ether Gust is good, Curse of the Swine that's a cute one, but it'll do the job. Entrancing Melody is good, Mystic Dispute is good, and Sphinx's Tutelage. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If they're both non-land cards that share a color, repeat this process. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards. What is this for? There's probably a matchup for this that I don't know. And the way you've built the deck, you do draw a lot of cards. I have no idea what this is for. Like, if this has no good reason, I would get rid of it. But like, I'm assuming it has a good purpose. If you add Siren Stormtamer, you can probably justify Wizard's Retort. You know what? Because you've mentioned it, I think Siren Stormtamer is better than Dive Down. I think it's a lot better than Dive Down. It's a lot better than Dive Down. The Siren Stormtamer is just like an actual threat that the opponent has to deal with first before they deal with the other cards. I like that a lot. I know that's not what you're suggesting, but thank you for reminding me this card exists. Burn? No, burn will kill you before... Burn will absolutely kill you before they mill you out. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Oh, I see. If they're both non-land cards that share a color, repeat this process. I still think burn is going to burn you out before you mill them out. This is not reliable. They just have to hit one land and the thing is broken. Anyway, those... Chart of Course is not a bad idea. But if I take out something, it would be like otherworldly gaze. Which is possible. Find the villain's lair. Because Chart of Course would work pretty well with this deck, especially with Demolich. Well, I hope some of that feedback was useful. Good luck with it. And that's going to be it for today. If I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck list, hey, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. And if you'd love to support the channel and you don't do so already, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. You could become a patron at patreon.com. Hey, maybe you'd like to join the crowd on YouTube. So thank you very much, everybody. Today, as usual, we have a whole lot of fun every single morning doing this. So keep brewing up those coffees. We keep brewing up the magic. Take care, and I will see you all next time.